Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're diving into the world of cryptocurrency, trying to make sense of the latest market, tremors, news, breaking news. We've got a stack of articles and things are getting interesting.
It's really a fascinating time right now because you see this kind of juxtaposition between this like wild west of meme coins and then these big institutional players like BlackRock coming in and starting to view Bitcoin as a serious asset class.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster on a tightrope, right?
Yeah.
So before we get into all the news and everything, what is the market even looking like today?
Yeah, so Bitcoin is down today. It's down 2.1%, trading at around $62,264. Ethereum also down 2.5% at $2,426. And it's not just them. The entire altcoin market is kind of mirroring that dip.
So a sea of red.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about this whole stablecoin dominance thing I keep hearing about. What's the deal with that?
So that's really interesting. Even with the downturn, stablecoin volume is actually through the roof. It accounts for 91.3% of the total market volume.
Wow. Which is roughly $72.93 billion. And so think about it this way. In times of uncertainty, investors, they flock to stability, right? So this surge in stablecoin volume, I think it suggests that there's a lot of liquidity kind of waiting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Waiting to see which way the winds are going to blow.
Waiting to see which way the crypto winds are going to blow.
Yeah.
And speaking of potential, storms coming, there's that Silk Road Bitcoin situation, right?
Right. Yeah. And for those who may not know, the Silk Road was this online marketplace. It was shut down by the FBI back in 2013, and it used Bitcoin for all of its transactions. And there's a chance that a significant chunk of those Bitcoins are actually going to be liquidated this week. Potentially billions of dollars worth.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a lot of Bitcoin potentially flooding the market.
Yeah, that's right.
I could see why people would be a little bit nervous. Yes, so it could create some downward pressure on the price, potentially even pushing it below $60,000. But, on the other hand, you have BlackRock, which is one of the world's largest asset managers. They recently came out and said that they recognize Bitcoin as a potential alternative to gold. And so that kind of endorsement from a major player like that carries a lot of weight. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
It is a nail biter for sure.
Yeah.
But in some slightly more positive news, FTX customers, it sounds like they're finally getting some relief with this court-approved repayment plan.
Yeah, finally, right?
Yeah.
After that whole roller coaster ride those folks have been on since FTX's collapse, a U.S. court just gave the green light to a $16.5 billion plan to make those customers whole.
$16.5 billion. That's not chump change. That's even for a crypto exchange.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, it's a huge step, towards righting the wrongs of that whole debacle.
Yeah, for sure. Now, speaking of big players in the crypto space, Hong Kong they're not messing around. They want to be like the crypto hub.
No, they're not.
Of the world.
Their Securities and Futures Commission is about to approve even more cryptocurrency exchanges, making it even easier for people to buy, sell, and trade digital assets. And so it's a clear signal that they see the potential of this technology, and they want to be at the forefront of its adoption.
It's so interesting, I think, how different countries and governments are handling this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Some are embracing it, some are like, I don't know what's going on, but
yeah, it's a mixed bag in terms of regulation, and that's creating both opportunities and challenges for the industry.
Definitely. Now, Bitcoin, speaking of top dogs, top performers, despite all the ups and downs and everything, it's still the top performing asset class of 2024.
It is, which is pretty remarkable when you think about, we've seen, governments selling, ongoing fallout from those bankruptcies. And, yet Bitcoin just keeps chugging along.
It does. Like the little engine that could.
It really does.
Now, Tether quietly this week hit a pretty big milestone, surpassing 350 million users.
Which is huge. You have to think, you have 350 million people choosing to use Tether, which is a stable coin pegged to the US dollar, as a way to navigate the crypto waters.
It really makes you wonder if this is kind of signaling a bigger trend of people wanting stability in a world that's seeming anything but stable.
It's a good question. It's a really interesting signal. Yeah, maybe it's not just about, like you said, those quick gains anymore. Maybe people are starting to see the value of stable coins as this kind of bridge between traditional finance and the crypto world.
A bridge to a, dare I say, more stable financial future?
Who knows, right? Who knows? But it's definitely something to think about. And speaking of bridges, let's talk about Ethereum for a second.
Okay.
because there's a big upgrade potentially on the horizon here that has the potential to really kind of change the game.
Okay, let's geek out for a minute.
Okay.
What are the details?
So picture this. Right now, every transaction on the Ethereum network takes about 12 seconds to process.
Okay.
That's what's known as the block time.
Got it.
But with this new proposal, it's called EIP7781. They're aiming to slash that down to 8 seconds.
Wow. So like 33% faster transaction time.
Exactly.
That's huge. But break it down for me. Like, why does that even matter for just the average person dabbling in crypto?
So think about it like this, right? Imagine you're waiting in line at the coffee shop.
Okay.
12 seconds versus 8 seconds may not seem like a lot.
Right.
But now multiply that by, thousands, millions of transactions. And it starts to add up, right? Faster transactions mean a more efficient network, which ultimately is going to be crucial for wider adoption.
Totally. No one wants to wait for their crypto latte.
Exactly. And it's not just about speed either. This upgrade could have ripple effects throughout the entire Ethereum ecosystem, from decentralized finance, DeFi,
right,
to the development of new and more scalable applications.
So a faster, more efficient Ethereum. It's definitely something to keep our eye on.
Absolutely.
Now, there's a lot of other things going on in the crypto world, it feels like, every single day.
It's a lot.
It's almost like I need a map and a compass just to kind of keep track.
Yeah.
What else is going on out there?
Well, let's start with El Salvador, right?
Okay.
Remember them?
The country that went all in on Bitcoin.
Yeah. That's right. They decided to go all in on Bitcoin. But, here's the thing. They've actually been putting their volcanic landscape to good use. They've been harnessing geothermal energy to mine Bitcoin. And guess what? It's working.
Wow.
They managed to mine 474 Bitcoin, worth about $29 million.
That is incredible. I love that. I love that they're using renewable energy sources as well. That's amazing.
It's a really cool story.
It is a very cool story.
Okay.
What else is on our radar?
So Vitalik Buterin, who's the co-founder of Ethereum, made headlines recently with a donation he made to a Tornado Cash developer.
Now, Tornado Cash.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it's basically this privacy-focused protocol.
Right.
That's been kind of,
in the crosshairs.
Yeah, of regulators for a little while now.
That's exactly right. And Buterin's donation, it was a relatively small donation, but it sparked all this debate about privacy in the crypto space, know? It's a really complicated issue. There's no easy answers.
Right.
Especially given Tornado Cash's, controversial past.
It's a whole other deep dive we could do, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of complicated things, meme coins.
Oh, boy.
They've been on a wild ride, haven't they?
They have. And, it seems like Vitalik Buterin may have accidentally poured a little bit of gasoline on that fire recently.
Oh, really? How so?
So he casually mentioned a couple of meme coins, Mudang and Able.
Uh-huh.
And the market, well, let's just say it went a little bit crazy.
Oh, the Buterin effect. It's real.
It is. And it's just a reminder that in the world of meme coins, anything goes.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
So unpredictable.
Yeah.
Speaking of unpredictable, that whole Silk Road Bitcoin thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
The U.S. Supreme Court just said, you know what? We're not going to hear that case.
Yeah.
Which means that the U.S. government, they can sell their massive chunk of Bitcoin.
They can. We're talking about $4.38 billion worth of Bitcoin potentially hitting the market. So that's a lot of selling pressure. And it's got analysts wondering, what kind of impact that's going to have on the price.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Big question mark.
Big question mark.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a second and talk about Coinbase.
Okay, yeah.
Coinbase has been busy expanding, haven't they?
They have been, yeah. They recently launched gold and oil futures markets.
Interesting.
Which is a pretty strategic move on their end.
Yeah, it seems like they're really trying to position themselves as more than just,
More than just an exchange.
Yeah, an exchange, exactly.
Right. Almost like a one-stop shop for all things finance.
Yeah, trying to diversify, I guess, appeal to a wider range of investors.
Exactly. And it's a sign that, even these established players in the crypto space, they realize they need to constantly be evolving.
Right.
They need to adapt to this constantly changing landscape.
Act or die, right.
That's right.
The crypto way. Okay, let's go to the Gulf Cooperation Council. Something interesting happened over there.
Yeah.
Involving the National Bank of Bahrain. What was that?
Yeah, so the National Bank of Bahrain, they just launched the first Bitcoin investment product in the region.
Wow.
Which is a pretty big deal.
That is huge.
It is. And, we're talking about a country like Bahrain, which hasn't always been, on the cutting edge of fintech, let's say.
Right.
When you see something like that happen, it really makes you realize that, this crypto thing, it's going mainstream.
It really does feel like that, though, doesn't it? It's like that whole saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. Maybe crypto's that tide.
Maybe so, maybe so.
But hey, it's not all, billion-dollar deals and institutions adopting this stuff. Sometimes it's about, the little guy, the individual users that could kind of caught in the middle of all this.
Right.
And speaking of, there's been a new development in the Tornado Cash saga.
Right. So a user who goes by the name Benteg, and it turns out that he's also a developer for Yearn Finance, had his account blacklisted by the U.S. Treasury Department.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a stark reminder that privacy in the crypto space is still a very thorny issue, and governments are still trying to figure out exactly how to handle it.
It's, this constant kind of push and pull.
It is.
Between this decentralized world and then regulation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, then there's the real world consequences of crypto as well, right? I mean, we're seeing this with Marathon Digital. They're one of the biggest Bitcoin mining companies out there.
Right.
And now they're facing this lawsuit.
Yeah. Some residents in Texas are claiming that Marathon's mining operations are creating a lot of noise pollution. It's an interesting case.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see, how that plays out in court. But I think it highlights the growing pains, in a way, of an industry that demands a lot of energy, a lot of resources. And so, I think it's a good reminder that, crypto's impact goes way beyond the digital world.
Absolutely.
There are very real world consequences, both, positive and negative.
Okay, let's lighten the mood a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about meme coins again.
Right.
Because meme coins, you gotta love them.
Yeah.
This time it involves a Grammy-winning rapper and a whole lot of confusion.
Only in crypto, right. It seems like Cardi B's X account, formerly known as Twitter, promoted a meme coin.
That's right.
Kind of caused a little bit of a frenzy.
Yeah.
And then she came out and said, I don't even own this token.
Oh, no.
By the way, be careful.
Oh, wow. So did she, didn't she?
Right. Who knows?
Classic.
But again, it just goes to show, I think, that even with all this talk of, decentralization, celebrity influence, it's still a thing.
It's still a thing.
It's definitely still a thing.
For sure. And it's a good reminder, I think, too, that, you got to do your research.
Always, always, always.
Due diligence, especially when it comes to something like meme coins.
Especially meme coins.
Because they are so volatile.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of putting your money where your mouth is, over in Japan, Metaplanet, they are on a Bitcoin buying spree.
They are not messing around. So they just bought another 108.786 Bitcoin for about $6.7 million.
Wow.
Which, adds to their already quite large Bitcoin holdings. And to see that kind of institutional interest from a company, that's based in Japan, a country that has, historically been a little bit more cautious, shall we say,
right,
about crypto. I think that's really significant.
Yeah, it's like everyone's waiting for someone else to blink first.
Kind of, yeah.
And then it's a mad dash. Okay, hold on a second. Did I hear this right? Is Donald Trump getting into the crypto game?
Well, let's just say that there are rumors.
Okay.
Rumors are swirling about a potential token sale connected to his DeFi project, WLFI. Whether it, becomes the next big thing or crashes and burns, who knows? But it's definitely not your typical crypto news story.
Not your average day in the crypto world, for sure.
No.
Well, we've covered a ton today. We've talked about market dips, meme coin mayhem, institutional adoption, regulation, everything. I feel like
It's a lot.
My head's spinning a little bit.
Yeah.
So as we resurface from this deep dive into the crypto sea, what are our takeaways? What are we learning?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the crypto world, as we've seen, is constantly evolving. What's groundbreaking today could be, like we said, old news tomorrow. But I think amidst all the volatility, amidst all the uncertainty, one thing is clear. Crypto is here to stay. The question is, how will it shape the future of finance? And how can we, as individuals, how can we best navigate this complex and constantly changing landscape?
It's like we're all explorers in this uncharted territory.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of uncharted territory, that kind of brings us to our final thought.
For today, we've seen how just one event, one news story, one tweet even can send these huge shockwaves through the entire crypto market. So here's what we want you to think about. What do you think is going to be that next major catalyst? What's going to be that next big thing that really reshapes this landscape as we knew it? keep those thinking caps on, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.